Look, I'm not going to lie. Hollywood has churned out some pretty terrible remakes of classics in recent years. At the top of the list, Spike Lee's Old Boy comes to mind.
Father?
RoboCop 2014.
What's going on? What the hell are you doing here?
Y'all gonna play good cop, bad cop?
Nah, Daniels. Bad cop, RoboCop.
2012's Total Recall and Red Dawn, Mulan 2020, Point Break 2015, and this year's Roadhouse is not too far behind. Now that I think about it, 3 of those I just listed are remakes of Patrick Swayze movies.
I used to fuck guys like you in prison.
Weird. When it comes to pointless remakes, Hollywood is king. Well, it was king until the French said, "Hold my baguette."
Baguette.
Baguette.
And proceeded to fart out one of the most brainlet remakes of all time in Netflix's The Wages of Fear. Now let me be the first to explain that the OG Wages of Fear didn't need a fucking remake to begin with. Released in 1953, The Wages of Fear continues to be one of the most thrilling movies of all time. It's an absolute classic. In my top 10 movies, could be. Definitely in my top 10 thrillers of all time, maybe even my number 1 on a good day. That's how serious I take the original Wages of Fear. You might be thinking to yourself, The Wages of Fear? Never heard of it. But trust me, The Wages of Fear has been remade to hell and back. Before 2024, it has been remade 3 times. Once in 1958 as a B-movie called Violent Road, directed by Howard Koch or Koch or Cock, whose only other notable credit is he helped produce the comedy classic Airplane.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Wages of Fear was remade again in the 80s for a MacGyver episode titled Hellfire. Damn, I love me some MacGyver. I mean, he refuses to use a gun, but he will make a weapon that fires a hypersonic projectile at your head. That's so cool. He's a man of principle. Lastly, but certainly not least, there was a remake in 1977 called Sorcerer by the legendary film director William Friedkin. This is the most notable iteration of The Wages of Fear, to the point where not many people know that Sorcerer is indeed a remake, and it's a damn good one at that. Much like Francis Ford Coppola, if it was the 70s and William Friedkin was attached, the least it was going to be was damn good. The plot to the original Wages of Fear is simple. 4 men are trapped in a decrepit and isolated South American village. There's little opportunity for employment aside from the American corporation that dominates the surrounding area, known as the Southern Oil Company or SOC. But there is plenty of opportunity to look down girls' shirts while they scrub the bar floor. So, I don't think life is all that bad. SOC operates the nearby oil fields and owns a walled compound near the village. They exploit the local workers and also make up its own laws as it goes along. While the villagers suffer, the townspeople also depend on SOC. When a fire erupts in one of the oil fields, the oil company figures that the only way to extinguish the flames and cap the well is with an explosion produced by nitroglycerin. With such short notice and lack of proper equipment, the highly unstable explosive has to be transported with jerry cans placed in 2 large trucks and driven 300 miles away to the location of the fire. With the shit conditions of the road and the highly volatile nature of the nitro, the job is considered too dangerous for union guys, so they recruit the local down and out villagers. Go unions! Unions rule!
And you are?
Chuck Deptula, Union Gaffer. Now, the International Brotherhood of Film Grips, Session Drummers, and Pool Table Repairmen has my back, scab. That's lunch!
Despite all the warnings that they will most likely lose their lives, many of the locals volunteer due to the high pay of 2,000 smackaroos. Not only is this a fortune to them, but perhaps the only way out of their dead-end lives. 4 men are ultimately chosen to drive the 2 trucks. These men are forced to deal with a series of physical and mental obstacles, including a stretch of extremely rough road, a construction barricade that forces them to teeter on a rotting platform above a 300-foot drop, and an extremely large boulder blocking their path. Nerves are tested. Fear ultimately sinks in. All 4 men's lives are changed forever. William Friedkin's Sorcerer, which takes place in a jungle, has similar scenes. One of the most tense scenes in cinematic history is the famous bridge sequence, where the trucks had to cross a rotted out wooden suspension bridge as the wind threatens to blow over the trucks and the rain takes them to Pound Town. Another scene features a massive tree blocking the road in which the only way to get around the damn thing is through it. So, they have to blow it up. The Netflix 2024 remake of The Wages of Fear has none of this. It's as if someone wrote the plot of The Wages of Fear down on a cocktail napkin, ate their snail of a dinner on it before wiping their dumb little mustaches, and then tried to decipher what they wrote with their little French eyeballs.
Dear neighbor, to be
That's what French sounds like to people who speak human languages. Listen, what I'm saying is that this remake of The Wages of Fear is so bad, Chris Stuckmann himself would refuse to review it. It stars dollar store Vin Diesel, his brother, the prison pit fighting champion / explosives expert, naturally, not relevant black guy number 1, the totally not suspicious traitor, and this chick who's only good at refusing to do anything she is an expert at. She apparently is the convoy's navigator, but all of her scenes involve her either crashing a car or getting them lost. Now, I can't say that Netflix's The Wages of Fear is making a joke about women and their driving abilities, because it's the only believable part of the film. Instead of just 2 trucks and 4 people inside them, they have an entire convoy of armed security that's only there to fucking die. The trucks themselves, carrying super unstable nitroglycerin, tailgate each other throughout the movie as if they were in a traffic jam in the middle of fucking nowhere. The convoy itself starts multiple gunfights next to the highly explosive material they're transporting with unnamed bad guys. When the gunfight isn't 3 inches away from trucks that would make Hiroshima look like Nagasaki times 9/11.
Yes. 91,100.
They take cover in the safest spot possible, behind the massive trucks filled with cranky explosives. When the unnamed bad guys, whose only motivation seems to be they don't like trucks in their desert, shoots at the truck, the only thing they hit is the center post in the cargo bay. I mean, this center post takes a beating with sparkles made in post-production like you never seen. Listen, I'm not saying that this movie is dumb. Netflix's Wages of Fear is saying that for itself. It's not really that fucking hard. Put 4 relatable guys inside 2 trucks filled with enough explosives that would send them to Mars before Elon Musk, and you have yourself a relatively cheap budget of a movie that is just as compelling as it is thrilling. 2024's The Wages of Fear is less of a remake of its predecessors and more of a wannabe Fast and Furious meets Mad Max Fury Road, with a budget that wouldn't even get you a boot at a thrift store. Exterior shots of a CGI helicopter are laughable, as if someone was having fun making 3D models on their lunch break. There's no tension involved in this version. In fact, it feels like an exercise in anti-tension. Many worthless flashbacks to dollar store Vin Diesel's mission gone wrong and his brother takes the fall happen. They desperately want you to somehow give a shit about these unrelatable characters. And the only character that comes close to being relatable is the turncoat bad guy, who seems so mission-oriented you begin to understand where he is coming from. Leave it to the French to make you sympathize with that guy.
I didn't get that.
Even when you get the trucks rolling, there's nothing that propels the plot forward. The whole movie remains in neutral. At one point, our trusty navigator, who refuses to do her job, steers the entire convoy into a minefield. The audience understands where they are right away, but it takes the characters in the movie an extra 5 minutes to figure out what they're driving over. And their galaxy-brained plan is to not get back on the main road because apparently that would take too much time, but for the brothers to rake the desert floor with chains to reveal the mines. This is obviously supposed to be the most tense scene in The Wages of Fear, but you can't help yourself and root for the mines. In Netflix's attempt at The Wages of Fear, it is clear that they tried to recreate some of the most crucial and gut-wrenching moments of the original. Namely, having to blow up the boulder in the middle of the road or drive through an oil pit. The original Wages of Fear skillfully ratcheted up the tension in these sequences, building one moment on top of the other, giving you that feeling that you just can't take it anymore. This brain-dead version is similar to that, just by the mere fact that it's still on your TV and you can't believe it, but it also lacks the basic understanding on why these scenes made your stomach drop into your nutsack in the first place. As a remake, Netflix's Wages of Fear is putrid. As a standalone action movie, it's a bore. If you want the ultimate thrill ride in movies, I suggest you catch the absolute masterpiece OG The Wages of Fear on Max. If you enjoyed this video, you go ahead and smash that like button. While you're done doing that, hit the subscribe button And then, after that, share this with your friends, family, people you hate. Maybe you don't like my content and just want to waste somebody's time. Do it, share it. Thank you. It is much appreciated. I'm out of here.